I'm Anissa Naue from Moscow. This week, Facebook pages with millions of followers disappear in the Middle East. Putin is at it again in Europe, and men in skirts stand up to mass rape. You're in the Now. Something weird is going on. Facebook pages are disappearing off the internet. They belong to Syrian and Lebanese TV channels, said to be loyal to the Syrian government. Millions of subscribers, one of them officially verified. But it doesn't matter. All blocked, no notice. This week, Facebook announced that it's going to fight hate speech and extremism online, not only taking down content. The best remedy to bad speech is more speech, writes Facebook CEO Sheryl Sandberg. Hate speech must go. So is there a connection? I spoke to Ali Hashem, head of online department of the Lebanese TV channel Al Mayadeen, one of the pages taken down. As of now, of course, your Facebook page is down. It's a verified page, almost 5 million followers. What is going on here, Ali?
Well, it was a surprising action. We were surprised to find out that our page just disappeared from Facebook, though our page was a very active page with around 5 million, as you said, 4,600,000 followers on this page, and with a lot of engagement, verified also to Facebook. And you know, we've been in contact with Facebook to understand what really happened and what caused this action. But till the moment, we didn't really get any clear answer. We were lucky, by the way, to get in touch with them, and they asked us a lot of questions regarding who we are, who are the, some technical details, and we went back into the history to understand, what happened in case there was some mistakes, or, so nothing was there, and we just, it was just that the whole page disappeared, and until now, Facebook didn't give any clear answer, but, it seems there is something, fishy about this whole thing going on.
We, in fact, did try to contact Facebook and ask them if it had anything to do with this new move to fight hate speech. Do you think this could have anything to do with this? And I have to ask you, is there engagement on your page that could condone or allow for hate speech?
Well, on each page you have a lot of comments coming, so we are trying our best to moderate the comments that are being, that are posted on our page. But in general, our own content, the content that we produce and the content that we post, has nothing to do with the hate speech or pro-terrorism speech. On the contrary, our channel has been, since its first day, preaching anti-terrorism and anti-hate speech. We've been trying our best to enhance or let's say encourage a dialogue between people and between even warring factions. So this is what we've been trying all the time to do, and this doesn't have anything to do with hate speech. We've been covering all the terrorist attacks going on in the Arab world, or in the Muslim world, or in the whole in the world as in general. When the attack on Charlie Hebdo happened, we covered the same like Western channels did. When the attacks on Paris happened, the same thing we did. The same thing in Beirut, in Syria, in Iraq, in Yemen, in Tunisia, wherever there were attacks, terrorist attacks, we were clearly condemning such attacks and trying our best to show the situation of the victims. And so there is nothing to do, or there is nothing that links Al Mayadeen to hate speech or to terrorism, and therefore there is something wrong going on here. And this wrong thing, I think that Facebook has to give some answers, not only to Al Mayadeen, but also to the millions of people who like Al Mayadeen, or who follow Al Mayadeen, or who watch Al Mayadeen.
And of course, your page was not the only page which was shut down, coincidentally or not. At the same time, there were other pages of pretty big media outlets, some of them connected to the Syrian government, others not. But many of you, what you do have in common is that you do report on terror and preach anti-terror measures, but you also give platforms to, let's say, lines that you won't hear in the mainstream media. Could this be connected to this somehow?
Well, we don't want to go into deep speculations. We've been analyzing the situation, but going into speculations and accusing, Facebook or whoever they are commissioning to do this job, we'd rather wait and a clear answer from Facebook to understand really what happened. It might be something different that we really didn't understand or see before. So that's why we prefer to wait and see. Maybe there's something in this regard. In case there is something different and something politicized, that should raise other questions. That should raise many questions in this regard.
What do you say when you say that this seems fishy?
Well, when Al Mayadeen, a channel like Al Mayadeen, well known with a lot of followers, sorry, millions of followers, there's an established name. Everybody knows Al Mayadeen in the Arab world, and surprisingly, suddenly, this channel's 2 months ago has been downed from the Arabsat by the Arabsat, and that's back, or let's say, whose headquarters in Saudi Arabia. And then in 2 months' time, the same channels' Facebook pages down from Facebook. Then we have to ask a question here, because this is probably linked. This is what we want this is what we are analyzing. Right now, we're not accusing, we're just analyzing. This might be linked. And that's why I'm saying there's something fishy about this issue.
All right, Ali Hashem, head of Al Mayadeen online department, speaking to us from Beirut. Thanks so much. You won't believe what Putin has been up to. I think he's spending too much time watching Washington meddle in everybody's business, pouring cash into European parties to sway the situation. Far-right parties like France's National Front or Greece's Golden Dawn, all to split European society and destroy it. Yes, Putin made Marine Le Pen a star. He forced people to vote for her. Corbyn became leader of the Labour Party in Britain thanks to Putin. European voters, they don't know what they're doing, moving left or right. It has nothing to do with the worst refugee crisis since World War II. Almost constant terror attacks, gang rape, and, well, no jobs. It's all Putin, no doubt, here. Oh, and he probably killed Litvinenko.
Probably in the knowledge, possibly, there is a strong probability.
The Oscars are so white, again. Why does it still surprise people the Academy of mostly white American men are biased? Not only are they racially biased, but politically, and their picks speak to that. Winter on Fire's nominated for an Oscar. The documentary, based on real events, claims to portray Maidan and Ukraine during pivotal 2014 protests. How Hollywood of them. They forgot to mention or show some facts.
Никакой агрессии, только мирная акция!
Хотели на корне сразу это все поломать, задавить, сразу, чтобы даже никому повадно не было. Но реакция оказалась обратная.
Ми не боїмося смерті заради свободи.
Майдан – це голос народу. Голос народу – це голос Божий. Слава Україні!
Wow. No coup, rioting, snipers, contacts, far-right thugs. I bet they'll leave that for a sequel. Bravo. It would be funny if the fact that millions of people will believe winter was on fire and not the filmmaker's pants. Protectors or rapists? UN peacekeepers have once again been accused of sexual crimes against children in Africa. 50 cents, the price that some of them reportedly paid for sex with 13-year-olds. What does the UN say? Not that much.
4 underage girls say they were sexually abused by UN peacekeepers. The UN has launched an investigation.
I cannot put into words how anguished and angered and ashamed I am by recurrent reports over the years of sexual exploitation and abuse by UN forces.
These allegations came to light in 2014 following claims that international troops serving as peacekeepers in the CAR had sexually abused a number of young children in exchange for food or money.
Coming up, making America great again just got a whole more stupid. Look who's standing by Donald Trump's side. Stay in the know.
Les tenues les plus chères, c'est-à-dire que, pardon, on prend d'abord, à part Kenzo, hein, il y a Giorgio Armani, il y a veste de Yves Saint Laurent.
In general, the supper don't take the false, fake thing, because if you put fake thing, everybody will know.
Ouais, normalement, la paire là, bon, si vraiment je ne l'achetais pas, je voulais acheter ma parcelle.
Oui, bien, je prends le crédit, comme je suis fonctionnaire. Je prends un crédit rien que pour les amis. Je vais en banque, je prends un crédit et j'achète.
جاتشاوا مثلا تل مال خرمشتي وردعش وارتكب بلدت
11 أعطيني سلماف أعطيني الظالمة دبن وشجتكن
أزنرم إيدني نروي كي داش يعني جنوب جمع درخن شاري سريكاني تشوفو كل ما أسران شاوا يبجي عالي مكر شاوا نجي بجي بقى أم كسانة من الكوبانا
بين بايم مالا خد سيرة حدرو نعيب باشروني
كورونا هاتن تولدي هاتن جبقوا جا خاخب باريزين ولا تخب باريزين وجل ديجدع شرب كان راستيا الشهيدة راستيا ما يدزياني ده
تعيش تشماش ما بترسيت أم هيك تشكي ما بترسين يعني
Men in minis. This was the reaction by some Dutch protesters to recent mass sexual attacks in Germany, taking a stand in skirts. But will it solve the problem? Joining me in the Now is Iban Trainholm, a journalist who is an editor and radio host at the Danish Broadcasting Company. She's with us from Copenhagen. Iban, I get the message about women. They are not the problem. What message will this send to the men who attacked?
Well, when we see this video, it's exactly the core problem. Men in Europe, or many men, are acting like women. And those men from those foreign countries, asylum seekers, they don't respect women. So when men act like women, I mean, we do have a problem because we have no masculine power in our society to fight back this male aggressive culture.
But
and
this clip that we've shown, to be clear, was in Holland. It was a small, relatively small protest. This doesn't necessarily represent all of European men.
Well, I think if you look at our politicians, they're very soft. They're like mothers. I mean, they are embracing, they're inclusive, and they talk about how we should embrace refugees. Of course, we should help people that are in need. But, I mean, they can't deal with the rapings, they can't deal with terrorism. So, I mean, European politicians look very weak, and that's because our culture has become feminized. This militant feminism that has been going on for decades, now we see the consequences that many men here are brought up to be women and think like women and be soft-minded.
But that is what Europe is about. That is part of European qualities that the European Union promotes. It talks about promoting at least all the time. And these refugees are coming to Europe. Shouldn't they adapt to that?
Well, I think that was not what Europe used to be. I mean, normally we have had like male hero virtues. And, you know, a culture needs to be balanced. It's fine that we have women's rights, and I really defend them. But I think a culture to be balanced and to work out well, you need to have both the masculine part and the feminine part. And now the masculine part is lost, and we see the consequences. We see how the postmodern values are just a construction, and it's a very fragile fundament. And now we see that we don't have any male that can stand up, who can fight back those male aggressions that we are facing. So the vacuum that feminism has created means that women are becoming victims of those male aggressions.
One could argue, though, that fighting or standing up or being strong isn't exactly going to solve problems. A lot would argue that strong male, like you say, leaders might be more inclined to start wars, to fight, to build conflict.
Yeah. I get your point, but the problem is that we see those physical attacks, violence that is coming into our society. So, I mean, like back in time in history, you have to fight back. I mean, it's just reality. Maybe this secular humanism is just an illusion because it doesn't work. I mean, we see that women are threatened in many centers for people that come as refugees. We have violence against Christians, rapings. I mean, mean, and our politicians don't know how to deal with it. You see that the terrorist has the upper hand. I mean, our leaders cannot protect our culture because they don't know how to be masculine. They don't know how to fight back because they don't dare to. And I think it's a huge problem. So we need a sort of male revolution, and it's just as important as the struggle for women's rights back in the 60s.
What does that exactly mean? A male revolution? We need to fight, you think, for male rights in Europe?
You know, it's very simple. It means that men needs to take responsibility to go back to the old male virtues, to defend the women, the children, and the culture. Because now, I mean, this postmodern project is dead. It doesn't work. And if we continue to be like soft and we have this idea that there is no evil, everybody is nice, if they just get a car and a job and they get well integrated, everything is fine, it's not going to work. So if we don't stand up for our values...
Isn't that going back with all we've fought as a woman, as women? Isn't that going back to say that only men can protect and run Europe? I mean, a lot of people would argue that Angela Merkel is a much stronger leader in a sense than François Hollande.
Well, look at reality. The reality that she has no control. I mean that aggressive males are raping German women in the streets. And where were the men? There were no German men to protect them that night. I mean, I really wonder where were the men to protect those women. So you know, it's good to have strong women and female values. But if it's unbalanced and you have no masculine force in the society, it's going to break down.
Right, but the mass rape shouldn't be happening in the first place.
I'm sorry, I couldn't...
The mass rape, the violence shouldn't be happening in the first place. These are guests, essentially, who Europe has welcomed.
I'm not so sure, because those people from those countries, they have a different culture, they have a different religion, and they only respect strong men. They don't respect women, and we need to look at reality. This is the reality. They don't respect women. They look at women as weak. And when the politicians are trying to be inclusive and all-embracing, for them it's just weakness. And we have to deal with that. It's weakness. So if we want to go on like this, I mean, it could be, you know, a catastrophe for our culture, because, I mean, maybe we cannot win this fight and we're going to be taken over by somebody else and another culture.
You've written recently, I want to point this out, to these individuals, I assume you mean refugees and migrants in Europe, strong European women are easy victims. They have respect only for strong men, and strong men aren't exactly thick on the ground in Europe. You've made this point, but isn't this a little bit of victim blaming here?
No, I think it's just looking at reality. I mean, we see that we need somebody to protect those women, because obviously they cannot protect themselves. I mean, they were victimized because they were victims of this type of crime. Should they have to protect themselves against mass rape on the streets of their country, of their home? You know, I would love to see women be able to protect themselves, but the reality, at least for this crime or this event, it did not happen. And now I know from people living in Germany that many women are scared to go out in the street at night, and we don't want a society like that. So men need to muster up and go back to the old virtues to protect people. And I don't think that women are, you know, being weaker because men are protecting them. I think it's just the balance we need in our society. And it's a huge problem on many levels that man has been brought up by women that wants them to become women. And many men today in the European society, they're very insecure about their own masculinity. And it means that society is going to be unbalanced, because there is a certain order in this world. And it's based on the kind of complementarity between masculine and feminine. And if one part is lost, I mean, there will be consequences. Like before, when the women were suppressed, that was not a good thing either. So you need to keep the balance, and so we have to go back to you know, trying to build up again a manly culture.
All right, balance I can agree on. Iban Trenholm, a journalist who is an editor and radio host at the Danish Broadcasting Company in Copenhagen. Thanks so much for being in the Now. Lack of masculinity, rise of rightist views, or a moment of uncertainty in Germany. Could these be the reasons for last century's most evil doctrine becoming a bestseller again? Yes, I'm talking about Hitler and his manifesto, Mein Kampf. right-winging, bitter-clinging, proud clingers of our guns, our God, and our religion. She's back.
Everybody get ready, it's time to play.
Right-winging, bitter-clinging, proud clingers of our guns, our God, and our religion. Damn! Supporting the one and only Donald Trump show, which was on tour in the UK this week, by the way. That does it for me. Stay in touch with us online. We love getting your comments and stories, ideas on Facebook and Twitter. As the big guns dust off from Davos this weekend, I want to leave you with this. It's now or never.
We're talking about that Davos 2016, yo. Ladies and gents, allow me to present one and only richest 1%. All the high rollers meeting up in Davos to talk about equality and how much they love us. Sipping champagne and eating caviar, complaining about how filthy rich they are. Counting revenue while eating fondue. If you are broke, you're not coming through. Sitting up high in Switzerland, they feed us fairy tales like Disneyland. Talking about change in the new global context, turn it into joke and a vanity contest. Pretending like they give a damn and even care for us. What can you expect from guys like George Soros? Just to please the eye, they set up cameos. Will.i.am, Kevin Spacey, and DiCaprio. The wealth is of the mind and not of the pocket. They say we're the poor ones, but we tell them f*** it. So let them talk all they want, we still having fun. We got 99%, but the rich got 1. Bam!